How, like, you just listen to that. These guys have done music. They've got an MVP. I'm going to put a little bit of the MVP after this. But we had Savannah live on stage on Grape, and really, really cool guys. And I'll put just the whole AMA out, and then I'll go and do a shortcut. And I'm also going to put a lot more of the MVP up as an individual video. But I love getting these kinds of people here on stage, and they're building a long-term project, Metaverse, partnering with some great people, and they are really concentrating on some of the most important things about what we should be doing in the metaverse. And I had super fun. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you, Mother, for the rabbits.
People actually using the platform to socialize, building the space is almost quite pointless, really. Like we want people engaging within this ecosystem itself.
Oh, look at that. Didn't know you could actually go in the ones. That's pretty cool. And I like how each kind of this room has a feel to it.
Yeah, so every single space, we're thinking of making it themed to pretty much the Solana ecosystem. So every room should really be individualized to a different project.
First, hi, I'm Ratri. I'm one of the co-founders for Sovana DAO, and I've been in the crypto industry since 2016. Together with Doug, both of us were actually given our first Bitcoin at the same dinner table in 2015. Never paid close attention to it. Thought crypto was really a get-rich-quick scheme. Dove into it, rode the whole ICO bubble up and down. Learned a lot, won some, lost some, and it was only in this later part of the year where we'll share a story as to why we actually want to stop doing what we're doing and really focus and narrow our focus into building this platform. Myself, I come from a diverse business background, so I do quite a couple of things in the traditional business world. And it's only lately that I'm sort of chunking down and focusing more in the crypto industry.
And Thug, welcome to stage for you as well. How do you fit into the team?
Cool. Hey, I am the co-founder of Sovana as well, together with Ratri, and came in the crypto space in 2015, 2016. Was a bit too young at the time to understand it fully, and was more interested in playing World of Warcraft than anything else. And then went through the whole ICO craze in 2017. Decided to leave my job as an accountant at that time, and just spent 8 to 16 hours a day in learning as much as I can in crypto. Stuck around all the way till here I am. And yeah, professionally I am a crypto prop trader. So I started prop trading about a year and a half ago, and that really gave me a new perspective on how markets operate and all that, and really dwelled deep into Solana, the ecosystem, the NFTs, and everything. Got really moved by the communities and felt something different this cycle, that everyone is more community focused, a lot more committed to the projects, and wanting to really build out this ecosystem. And then after that, I got rugged by Soul Bears, and that really triggered me. And I couldn't, I was so mad after getting rugged by Soul Bears, and I couldn't believe, like, how could anyone how could you do that to a community that stood by you? And that pushed me into wanting to build Savannah, and no longer just sitting there being a bystander, and really wanted to build out something that I wanted for as an NFT holder myself and for the Solana community.
So, crypto prop trading, did you say?
Yeah.
Can you
crypto
give
prop
us
trading.
a brief understanding of what that is for people that have no idea?
Yeah, so how it works is that the prop trading firm is a firm in Sydney, and I'm a contractor to the firm, and the firm gives me capital, allocates capital to me and my trading account, and they provide me with softwares and custom proprietary softwares that we can use, and we profit split based on that.
Okay, very
And
cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
pretty much trading pubs on Binance.
So you guys have been in the system for a while. You've been around since even pre 217 crash and boom and all of that. You've had trouble in the local Solana space as well. That's you're both in Perth, is that right? Perth, Australia.
Yeah, we're both in WA.
And what about the rest of the team? I've seen on the, I think it was 6. You've got 6 on the white paper for the team of Savannah, or it might have been 8.
Yeah, so our team is actually quite diverse. We've partnered up with a couple of engineers as well as artists, and they are quite international. So we actually have teams from Indonesia. We have team members from America as well.
Yeah, so our team is actually made up of roughly 8 people now, and including me, Retri, Mish, who is our moderator, and public relations. We all wear multiple hats, and Roth is our artist. DC is our UI UX developer, web developer. She also has experience in indie games, and she leads the design for Sovana. Pandu is our backend developer / web developer. He is building out the website and the Unity game, and we have also Katz, who is the artist who designs all the animation and avatar in our metaverse, and he has a lot of experience in Unity animation as well, and he's worked with a couple of NFT projects, so he has some experience in that space too. And we've got a project manager, Evita and Glenn. They help oversee everything and help manage everything, and they have experience in the crypto space as well.
So building a metaverse, let's talk a little bit about Savannah and get some basics through of what Savannah is and what you guys are sort of aiming to get in there. Obviously, when we hear the term metaverse, it's thrown around about the entire space, and then we hear projects talking about them as we are building our metaverse. Can you talk a little bit about Savannah, please? And let's get into that.
Yeah, so the whole idea behind Savannah, and I agree with you as well, Barndog, that the word metaverse is kind of like a buzzword right now. Almost every project is sort of using it sort of like as a flashy marketing term. But Savannah is a 2D metaverse project where you can port your NFTs into the 2D platform to use it as your avatar. So what we're going for is an example would be if I'm a monkey and Tug is a tugbird, we can then use our monkey in it as our avatar and walk around, go to events, attend events together, trade with other players, communicate with them, and yeah, that's the gist of the platform.
Yeah, so for people that are looking, we've got live questions. Any questions, feel free to throw those in there. But the channel above it, Sovana AMA questions. So we will keep all questions in the live questions channel. But that has some links, and we even have a little bit of gameplay footage there, Thug linked from their MVP. So how far through the process of building the metaverse are you guys? What is it that we can actually do in Savannah at the moment?
So what we're aiming for the full platform is to actually integrate a whole bunch of features where you can not only walk around and chat to other players, you can trade with them peer to peer. You can interact with them through voice and video chat, such as if you walk beside a player, a voice channel actually pops up and you can just talk to them quite seamlessly. There will be meeting rooms as well where there's little tables around. And if you sit beside another player, a video recording actually comes up and you can then interact with someone else. We're also allowing other features such as Web3 integration as well. So there will be machines in there when you can actually go onto the machine, actually mint NFTs, interact with different DeFi protocols, do trades in there, sort of like a very gamified way to interact with Web3 protocols. We're also creating collaborative spaces and features targeted at different communities. So some of our partners, such as Bandito, such as the Samurais, Cyber Samurais, we're actually partnering with them to create a space very unique to their ecosystem, whereby they can then have a private space together. They can have like bulletin boards for themselves. They can even have a center stage to live stream their own events.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get some links out at the same time. I need to find a better way of doing that. I have linked the pages for Cyber Samurai and Banditos. You guys really want to key into community, and that's going to be a part of it. So I've seen some demos and stuff where you actually go around and you click on someone and it gives you an option to talk to them. You want to be able to do some kind of video and, like have a face-to-face as well as be able to have some kind of talking and stuff in the game as well, yeah?
Yeah, so essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring the whole concept of using your NFT as your identity, which is kind of like the narrative at the moment. A lot of people in the space have grown very attached to their NFTs and use it as their profile pictures. But I think Sovana DAO aims to take this a next step further, whereby your NFT literally is your identity and you can use it to interact with others. But not only that, like we're trying to bring the next level of social interaction for the whole ecosystem on our platform. One of the reasons why we're doing this is because everyone is on different Discord channels at the moment. Everyone's on Twitter Spaces, and that's where the crypto industry is mostly congregated and socializing around. But what if we can actually have a space where everyone, every single project, every single person can gather around and socialize, sort of like in a way better environment, whereby it's more lifelike, it's more human-like, it's more fluid, compared to where we are now, where it's literally just text and voice.
Absolutely.
Doug, do you have anything to add?
Sorry, just so this is one of the big problems you've just touched on there at the moment is that we're all on Discord, Twitters. They're the two biggest ones that I'm seeing at the moment, and there is hundreds of Discord servers. There's hundreds of projects, so we are very fractured in the community. Is we have such a great community and people that are truly excited to find new projects, but may only invest in a couple. So how do you plan to get them to join together for the metaverse? Like, how do you plan to actually get those people to socialize in that open space?
So I think we can start hosting by providing like the tools for communities to actually host their AMAs, their Twitter Spaces, and everything on Sovana. And initially, with our partners, we want to create a space for them, a specific building just for the community to, for example, our Bendito bar that we created. And part of the partnership agreement with our partners will be that they have to host events on our space. Otherwise, there is really no point of us just creating a space for them if no one's going to use it, right? So that's our plan to initially push out and really get people into the habit of using the spaces and using our platform, and that way we can also get feedback and improve from there. So we hope that in the future Grape protocol will be hosting these future AMAs on the Grape Vineyard, for example, and yeah, we're gonna have so much fun jumping around with our avatars and our NFTs.
I think there's a huge pent-up demand as well, where part of me and Doug's frustration is having to hop on to different Discords
Yep.
to interact with different communities. And it's like what you said, Barndog, it's just so fractured. And what we want to do is actually bring sort of like port the entire NFT sphere and ecosystem onto the platform. So right now, from the light paper that you're looking at, you actually get a glimpse of what the Savannah sort of street or the main hub actually looks like. But what we're doing is we're creating different portals very specific to the theme of each NFT project out there that we're partnering with. So the monkeys will probably get a monkey island. The thugs will get like a thug ghetto. The cyber samurais that they've been so awesome to us as partners, they'll get a samurai dojo. So these are spaces where the community actually um, gives us ideas, gives us tool sets on what they actually want to bring into the metaverse. And I think this is a really cool first step of how we're going to bridge ourselves out of this centralized platform such as Twitter and Discord into something that could potentially shape the whole ecosystem.
Yes, you're talking about then having sections for people that hold individual NFTs and obviously things like Grape Protocol with our Grape tools, how we can register who's holding what particular NFT. So that works towards things like that. And then are they going to be exclusive to, so, you know, if someone's holding a Monk DAO, then they're going to have a building or something where they fit in there and only people with the Monk DAOs can go in there?
Yeah, there will be public areas as well as private areas where you have to be sort of like Grape verified to actually enter these private areas. But I'll let Doug elaborate a little bit further of what's going to come as far as real estate, as far as land is concerned as well.
Yeah, so I think the possibilities are endless. One of the things that we want to focus on early on is creating spaces for DAO hideouts where we can create a back room in the Bandito bar that only if you have a Bandito trait or only if you have a Bandito monkey you can enter into the back room, and in that back room we can put little forums up there like Reddit where people can have deeper conversations and discussions, and they can also put a bulletin board up there to integrate with the squad's DAO ecosystem, so people can go in there and place their votes for their DAO. And in terms of like the future, how I see Sovana is we don't want to create this metaverse out so rapidly, so fast, with no purpose and no direction. We want to create every single space, every single building really purposefully. So we'll have each building dedicated to a community, an NFT project, a DeFi protocol, a game that's already in existence. And through that way, our whole city can just look more alive and more purposeful and not just limited to our team's vision, but really integrating all the existing laws and all the existing communities out there.
So a little bit there you're saying is you're not going out to grab 50 different projects. You're trying to be as personal with your projects as well and actually build them specific land that they're going to be proud to be a member of within your metaverse.
Yeah. So that's the whole point behind it, where I think a lot of games and developers make the mistake of creating something from scratch, and they create very vast, expansive worlds where it feels empty and desolate, right? So our approach to it is we want to partner up with projects who already have vibrant, active community, who already have people really dedicated and passionate about their NFTs, and provide a space for them to express themselves. I think that is the better approach, where if you think of Savannah as a sort of like a visual layer of what these projects can look like a visual layer of what Grape Protocol could even look like. It's that's our goal so far, where we're actually a platform building for the community. We're actually a platform building for the Solana ecosystem as well.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the partners. You mentioned two earlier, and that was Cyber Samurai and Bandito DAO. Have you guys got a list that's available for people to see? Obviously, we don't want to say, we've got 30, 40 different projects, and NFT projects have become that saturation, which we slowly obviously has caused problems with, mints not selling out and all those kinds of things. But have you guys got a list of partners at the moment?
Yeah, so we do have a list of partners. However, we want to change the way we partner up. So our partnerships have clear outlines of what's expected from both parties, and we want to publish those out with the communities. And we have a lot of talking partnerships right now, and we plan to roll them out slowly as our platform develops and as Sovana starts building their avatars, their buildings, and all that. And we'll slowly announce it and roll it all out together with our website.
Okay, cool. One thing worth, I guess, noting, and I had meant to bring that in as well, was so you guys are going to be your sandbox style game where you've got a metaverse, people are buying land, all those kinds of things. You must be pretty excited about seeing what happened with Portals yesterday, for example.
I I know of Portals, but I'm not following too closely. I've just been too caught up with Sovana, and I'm losing track of the whole Solana ecosystem, really. But yeah, I really love Portals. However, we are quite different from Portals in the sense that um, I don't see a reason to create individual houses for now and spaces. What we really want to focus on for now is to create DAO spaces and community spaces where people will actually it's a bit more vibrant and it's a common area for everyone to use. And maybe later on we'll venture into more specific houses where people can personally own and invite their friends into.
Yeah, like if you've got a Monk DAO island and someone can then purchase a Monk DAO house within that island. I guess it's a way to individualize it, but more so the fact that they launched 5,000 NFTs in a very tired market and they had 6,000 requests in the first 5 seconds. So it kind of shows that even though it's a tired market at the moment, these projects building a metaverse style sandboxed game, it does look still very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. It is very exciting.
I think like if projects add value, yeah, it's well deserved. Portals are they absolutely deserve everything.
Yeah, so without dwelling on those too much, let's talk more about you guys. So we're looking at NFTs are obviously a central focus point. What are Sovana doing in the way of NFTs? I know it's a guardian egg, but do you guys want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so just to make things clear, you do not the whole point of our platform is to be very open and to be as inclusive as possible. So we're actually making it open to existing NFTs. So you don't actually need to hold a Savannah NFT to actually come use our platform. We're actually building it in a very open style. But there are some benefits and some really cool benefits to owning a Solana NFT, which is the whole concept of this Guardian eggs. I'll let Doug explain further on what a Guardian egg is.
Yeah, so adding on top of that, when we created our platform, we didn't want to limit it to only people who you have to buy our NFTs to use our platform. You have to buy like no other social platform does that, and I don't see a reason for that. And instead, we want to design a NFT that complements the community and complements existing NFT holders, and as well as giving the opportunity for people to get a stake in Sovana. So the guardian eggs are gonna be your companions in Savannah, and they will be like little pets floating around or running around with your avatar, behind your avatar, like a trail. And owning a guardian egg will give you access to the Savannah DAO, and it'll give you access to the private rooms where only egg holders will be able to enter. And Yeah, owning a Sovana egg is also exposure to the Sovana ecosystem. So first 20% of our mint will be used to deposit into a community fund, the DAO fund, which all Sovanan egg holders will actually govern and own. And in that, just like every other DAO, we can vote on proposals of what to buy, what to sell, who should we partner with, what should we do with the funds, and all that. And in this DAO, the DAO will be a beneficiary of every single economic transactions on Solana placed. For example, if we have a sale of future NFTs or um, beneficiary of other revenue models as well in Solana. So, for example, if an artist comes on Solana and he wants to sell his own NFT and perform live music, and part of the money or the part of the transactions made from that NFT sale and that royalties will be channeled into the Sovana DAO, which will eventually channel back into the egg NFT holders. So by holding a Sovana egg NFT, you are really it's really a long-term store value asset, and it will give you exposure to the upside potential of Sovana.
So just for some basics, it's 5,000 eggs at one Solana, and you're looking at potentially going December. I believe it was around the 20th. Is that still kind of the timeline you guys are thinking?
Yeah, but I after a second thought, the 20th of December it's kind of a festive period, so maybe it's best to push it into January, but we'll see how our community grows and we'll go from there.
And we didn't really talk about actually getting the egg and what it does. I've linked it in live questions. It's like a period. So what you guys said was you want this to be social. You want this to be a platform where people are talking to each other, saying how their day is, all these kinds of things. So that you actually get the egg that mints, that follows your character around in the game. And then you've got to incubate that. So from reading the white paper, it says that the more social interactions you guys have, that actually increases the incubation period. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, about the actual gameplay side of the gamification of that mint process?
Yeah, sure. So the gamification is still in the works. So the specifics is all still yet to determine. And the reason because is we want to get more community feedback, and we really want to, yeah, understand what people want and what's good, what's bad about it. And but the main idea is that we want to create an incentive system for people to actually socialize and make friends and empower our users to um, build a community with us together, and creating an incentive system for that to happen. And that will be done through our eggs.
Yeah, so I guess you're saying at the moment you're still trying to flesh out that actual system.
Yeah, that's right. And also the one thing I'll add on top of that is that the idea of the creatures in Savannah, the as far as we name it right now, it's the Guardians of Savannah. These creatures will be um, built based on current existing law and current existing communities. So, for example, there'll be a little bird creature called Koko, which is the Thugbits thing, and we'll create a whole list of them based on our partners and based on um, the
So
communities who decide to join us.
so you have a heavy World of Warcraft background you're talking about. So you're adding in quests, and that's going to give people exposure to other projects and actually get them to learn a little bit. Is that the sort of aim you're getting at there?
Yeah, that's right. I think a lot more details will be published very soon.
Yeah, that's super important. I like that. Rather than just saying, we're going to create this metaverse, you take your NFT in there and just walk around aimlessly without actually learning about the other protocols and the other projects and getting that familiarization and learning things. I didn't get into the DGen apes myself, but it would still be nice to learn extra things. Can we have a Lich King statue in the metaverse? Comes from Bacon.
I don't see why not.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to? Well, let's talk a little bit about the tokenomics, I guess. SVA, I believe, was the ticker. Is that right? Tokenomics of 20 billion coins, but you likely would still be working that out.
Yeah. So the tokenomics SVA tokens will be used for every single transaction in Sovana, and that will be the utility token.
So can we talk a little bit then, 21 billion, sorry, I got the number wrong. I will link that shortly. But can we talk a little bit about how the business model works, how this token's going to get used, it's going to create value, how you're going to bring that back to make it sustainable?
Yeah, I think it's good. The SVA tokens will be the most reflexive asset in Sovana, so the use cases will just keep mounting on as our platform grows. But the first few use cases for it will be that it can be used for buying beers for your friends, for example, buying skins, Sovana skins. So you may come in as a thug, but you may come in as a degen ape or monkey. Will create common skins that everyone can use. For example, a big helmet or astronaut suit, and those skins will be sold in SVA tokens. And the beer concept is a pretty cool one where we thought of creating beers and bars, really cheap ones for like it could be $1 or $2 just to buy a beer for a friend, buy a drink for a friend. So yeah, the possibilities are endless with the SBA tokens.
And do you again tie those tokens into things like quests, so people, have buy 100 beers and that gets a certain reward quest NFT afterwards, so it promotes people to actually spend that money and utilize that?
Yeah, that's right. So the SVA tokens would be tied in back into the whole reward system to incentivize people to complete quests. Maybe a simple quest could be make a new friend in Savannah, attend an event, write some notes down, and publish a post about the event, and things like that.
Sorry, Doug, I keep cutting. To speak more about quests, quests on Savannah would take on two forms. So the traditional gaming model is you go in and you grind, right? Like you do a few tasks, you kill a few monsters, and you grind to actually do the quest. On Savannah, what we're introducing is a form of social questing, whereby our quests are actually designed with the whole social aspect, keeping in mind with that. So, for instance, if you visit our Discord right now, we've already rolled out some early iterations of what the questing system will look like. It really is to get people in, get them really engaged, get them interacting with others like they would in real life. The last thing we actually want to see is people um, exhibiting bot-like behavior, whereby they just go in and do mindless activities. What we actually hope the community embraces is just being social, participate in events, make friends, make connections. Just with the whole NFT space as well. Like this year is the year that I've done more business with people behind NFT profile pictures than I have in real life. Like I've done more business with people like that and gotten to know more people with just their profile picture in mind. So the whole idea of the metaverse is we want Savannah to actually be really social, to be really vibrant and alive, and not just another video game.
Yeah, we did have one question from Bibu. Will there be games within the metaverse? If so, are you guys building them, or will it be from partners bringing in their third-party games?
Yeah. So at the moment, we actually have a few proposals in our pipeline. And one of the proposal was we actually want to introduce this in stages. So with the third stage being Savannah Dell actually being a video game of its own, where Doug might elaborate later on the idea of fighting FUD and the FUD hole. But what we want to do first is create the concept of what we call DAO games, where we're actually going to use real life games, real world games, and we're going to pit DAO against DAO.
Yes.
So to find out, so we can create a tournament system around that, where DAO challenges DAO in various activities or various games. And then later on, the platform itself will have games in set where we'll have like an arcade system where you go in, you plug in, you bring your NFT in, and what it'll do is it'll open up a game itself. I'm not sure if that's the question you're asking, Bibu, but I hope this answers it.
Yeah, so you're talking about using games and stuff that we have on hand at the moment. Of course, time zones and everyone being around the old actual world makes that a bit harder to get everyone on the same time zones. But I guess you guys can always link up to alternate partners' games by, you create that link up and it takes you away to their clients, their game clients.
Yeah, that is in the plans to integrate. So we have a partner with another metaverse, and we're gonna create like a portal system where if you go in, and their metaverse is actually on Binance Smart Chain. So if you open up the portal into their metaverse, it'll pop up a new window, and you can go on there and you can do all the things in their metaverse, and then when you're done there, you close it and you're still in Sovana.
Yeah, I love it. I do love the idea of partnering up, having down, one protocol against another protocol. And I've mentioned this many times. I'd love to do Grape teams. Like there's many teams and games that you're getting plots of land, and you have bigger teams that are 5 to 40 people. And it'd be cool to get some of those along, where you're doing it to be more of a social rather than competitive nature. But at the same time, it would still be, good to do monk versus thug and see how that goes. We did have a question from Argkin, which was a good relevant question. Can you talk a little bit about the factions that you've got in Discord? You've got 3 factions, I believe.
Yes, we do. We have 3 factions in Discord. So this is tying into we want Savannah to be something like what we are in real life, where each of us have different personality types, each of us have different interests, and each of us have our own strengths and weaknesses. So the idea for Discord factions at the moment is when you enter Savannah, we encourage most members to actually get out of being just a lurker and actually pick a faction. So we have a Guardian faction, Oracle faction, and Degen, whereby we want to create sort of like faction dynamics and have people choose their factions, collaborate with people within that faction itself, as a way to, as their sort of like initiation into the metaverse. As to my favorite faction, like I'm a degen myself, so I highly associate myself with that. I love a good meme. I love very dark. I have a very dark sense of humor, and I love rubbing it into Oracle's face because they're pretty much a very goody two shoe type faction.
Yeah, I guess it was funny though, because the names you've given it, Lurker and Degen, that like I didn't want to get out of the Lurker because I've got a very degenerative sense of humour, and I'm like, I'll just sit in the bushes and watch what's going on. It was an interesting choice of names.
Yeah, and within the Discord itself, like we're already seeing clear faction dynamics and many sort of like civil wars happening where the oracles are raiding degen channels and the degens are raiding guardian channels, and everyone's just having a good time. And that's the whole point. Like we want everyone to have a good time. Just stop asking questions like when moon or when mint, but instead start making real life friends. Because as the metaverse gets built out, your friends in the metaverse will eventually reach parity with your real life friends, where you'll get to meet people from all different parts of the world, do business with them, interact with them, and actually share your life with them in some sense. Like that's what I believe in.
Yeah, it's that gamification that I love it, and I've talked about this a little bit today in other channels. Is that the whole mint flip process has hurt gaming? It's really hurt what's being built. Is these games are taking a long time to get built. That we are walking on new ground. We're very early in Solana gaming, and the gamification in the discords and having a bit of a fun straight away. Mr. J has gone and said, Barndog supports degens in your Discord. You've got people that are entertained, that are enjoying this and having fun with it. And I love that. I will point out, though, that I did actually take a different, I went down a different line, but I've got a degenerative sense of humour is more towards getting off that lurker role was very hard for me to pick a team. And is that going to have any change? Is that just going to be a way of having factions, and that's not going to affect buying NFTs or in-game initially? It's just going to give them a different bar or a room they'll go to and potentially raid their friends and have that in-game humor?
I think there's a lot that we actually have in the pipeline for factions. So pick your factions very carefully because it will influence the reward system, the incentive structure of the platform. But I'll let Tug elaborate further on what that means.
Yeah, so we want to reward our active members and the members who help grow our community and help contribute and bring the good vibes in. So we created this we call it the Hall of Fame in Savannah. It's a pre-sale VIP list where we reward our members for being active and contributing and starting conversations with people. And this reward system will give the pre-sale is to get a legendary Sovana egg as a reward, and this would be separate from the mint, the public mint, and we'll be publishing a lot more details on how this reward is actually given out, and it's going to be in a fair and just way.
So you're talking about the whitelist. You've got that linked on your white paper. So people need to monitor the space. That's what you're saying for this whitelist?
Yes. Yeah. Stay tuned and be quite engaged with our Discord because most of our announcements will be published there. But a lot of new features, a lot of new additions will be published very soon. And what we're doing is, I think the whole NFT space and the mint flipping and all of that behavior, I think we're at the late stage of the cycle right now where a lot of projects just focusing on mints without clear roadmap, without clear utility, are going to fail or not sell out, really. We're at the productive cycle where the ecosystem actually needs use cases to be built out, and that's what we're aiming for. But stay tuned because we have plenty of rewards that we want to give to our best members out there.
You touch and you say it really perfectly. It's we are at the end of the flipping, and it's the projects. The problem is it's such tough ground to now march, and 4 games I can list: Project Loon, Degen Club, Zulana, and Groms. Now it's hard. I talk to obviously certain projects get AMAs, so I look at those projects and keep up with those. There are 4 people that have gone about doing 4 projects that have gone about doing a high use case for their NFT, and it's kind of hurt them. Like they haven't minted out because they haven't gone for a buy flip mentality. And it is super exciting to see the communities and projects that are building for the long term, and it do some research, study into them, and it sounds like you guys are on the right track.
Yeah, I think when Thug came to me and pitched the idea of Sovana, he was really pissed off at being rugged. Because from a very early stage, we took a stance on the Solana chain itself and had a really big vested interest in it. And we wanted to see the chain succeed, and actually impact the real world as well. And when we saw rugs happening, it really hurt us in a very different way. We didn't want to see the same thing happen where the Solana ecosystem gets infiltrated by scams and flippers and that sort of thing. We actually want to see real use cases being built. real activity going on.
Yeah, so I guess leading into that, obviously you'll have a lot of partners come on board and you'll go through and curate, what's good for you, what's good for them, what's good for everybody. But are there any projects out there? You've mentioned obviously Grape, but are there any other projects that you guys are looking at off the top of your head that would fit well?
Do you want to take
Doug,
this,
do you want to
Retri?
go with it?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'll take it.
So, you take it. You take it.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we do have a few partnerships that we can't wait to announce, and the main ones that we really want to get on board are the Solana Monkey business and the Thugbirds, and the Degen Apes, because those three are the blue chips of
Yeah.
Solana, and what they have done with their community building and what they've done for the space is puts me speechless. And yeah, we I really want to slowly roll this out, and but
Yeah, okay,
sorry.
I get it's a hard semi-loaded question. The SMBs, they do an amazing process. Are they still doing their weekly highlights where they get 3 or 4 projects and they do that on a Monday, I believe?
Yeah, they're still doing it. I've been in touch with Hammer, who's a monkey, and he's hosting those events. He's also part of that CD Underground, and if you heard about them, they're actually a TV show. That's going to be bridging and utilizing the NFT concept in the TV show itself. So we have a couple of things in the pipeline, and a way that we're approaching this is very systematically, especially when it comes to the Solana Monkey business and Thugs. So I've been trying to participate more in the Monkey DAO itself, trying to get to understand their culture, because they are very regimented. They actually have a process in doing things. It's almost like a mini organization that moves quite slowly, and in a way that's beautiful, because it then creates an actual partnership as opposed to just a partnership like a sticker on the website, which is happening a lot in the crypto space. But our big idea is eventually we want Savannah DAO to be decentralized enough and to be owned by DAOs itself. So one of the big moves that we actually did that's not mentioned in the light paper is when Thug actually pitched the idea for Savannah DAO, right? He raised money almost instantly. I think it was 48 hours. Within 48 hours, people were actually throwing money at us, and we accumulated up to 250K at that point as the seed round, right? But after a while, we actually went back and forth with this. Like, it was like ping pong between me and Doug, quite a fair bit over multiple dinners, multiple beers, and conversations. And we actually ended up giving back all the money to our seed investors for one reason only: align incentives. And for us being in the game for a while, we kind of know how the VC structure works.
Yeah.
And the VC structure doesn't really reward early users of the project. Apart from number go up in the token, it really is skewed towards benefiting the VCs themselves, as they get early allocations, they get discounted sales, and so forth. But what our grand vision is we don't want to raise VC money as much as possible. That's not a route that we want to go through. We want to actually be owned by DAOs and governed by DAOs, because we believe that DAOs are the next VCs.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I've seen many projects trying to avoid that VC investor. We even saw DeFi land on, was it Wednesday, their coin launch, and it was one of the VCs that dumped the coin straight away. So, like, yes, they are investing, they're giving these companies the startup money, but it's not rewarding the company and the users exactly perfect. And people and DAOs, communities and stuff, they're already in the space, aren't they? So they're going to be able to have an interest and actually keep an eye. And what you're saying is you want to tie them all into your space as well.
Yeah. So we want to bring them in the ecosystem. We want them to take active governance, active ownership, and actually own it, because there's a phase 4 or phase 5 of Savannah DAO that we actually have envisioned, where it's going to be more than a 2D platform. It's actually going to be a space where we'll be developing ecosystem tools, so like blockchain tools and technology for DAOs, and that's our vision. And it starts at the social layer, where if we can get everyone on the same platform, interacting with one another, a lot of productive things can happen. In some ways, we want Savannah DAO to fuel the GDP growth of the entire crypto ecosystem.
Yep.
Because we need a place to meet, and we need a place where we can actually build things.
Yeah, I guess let's talk a little bit about, you touched on it then with building things and Web3. How are you guys going to bring this into Web3? I know Bone Feeder is doing a lot of things at the moment. They've got, is it Jabber? Are you guys going to be trying to utilize the projects that are already up and going? So are we going to be trying to introduce into Twitter? Are you going to stick with Discord? How are you working with Web3 to make that possible so it's as decentralized as possible?
So I'll let Todd elaborate on that further, but he wants to figure out a way to gamify and to actually make those interfaces or those existing protocols accessible on Savannah itself.
Yeah. So I don't want to we don't want to create a ecosystem just for NFTs. We want to integrate with any other Web3 protocols out there, which means we can create like a trading desk, for example, that is dedicated to Radium. So anyone can go on that trading desk, interact with it, and it'll pop up a window to make your swaps, put your LP in on Radium, or even like deposit to make interest on your DeFi, all your DeFi needs. So we'll be creating trading desk. We'll be creating maybe even like a swap system for Symmetry, for Mercurial, and even our trading, peer-to-peer trading. We'll be looking at integrating other Web3 applications to make Savannah as decentralized as possible. And there's a lot of big brains out there working on all these solutions, and we don't want to be focusing on creating all these different things, and we can leave it to them, and we can just then integrate them, and therefore we will just have all our focus and resources really focusing on building this whole platform, this whole metaverse, and making it as social as possible.
Yeah, social and education is so important as well, because people interacting with Savannah DAO interacts with the platform at a very game level, very easy to understand level. And the more we can gamify the experience, the more we can make it user friendly. They will then venture out to using these protocols, to using these very complex protocols, like hopping onto like something like Uniswap, Bonfida, or even Radium can be quite a scary task for some people. But within Savannah DAO, what we're actually aiming to do is gamify that experience so that they then get step-by-step educational, in a very educational way on interacting with them.
There was, what was I? Oh, I've lost train of thought. This is the hard thing. Sorry, I'm just answering questions on the side in the live channel. It's good. So I do love that you guys are trying to educate, bring it in, personalize it all. And what is it you think is going to make you guys unique apart from all of these other metaverses that are coming out?
I think the most unique part about us is the inclusivity and the collaboration with other metaverses. Most metaverses out there are creating spaces just based on their own vision of the metaverse. But we in Savannah are creating a space where every single building, every single junction, every single suburb, town is dedicated and built around a community. And also every single application on there will be integrating with existing platforms, existing DeFi platforms, Web3 platforms, borrowing and lending platforms, Parrot, protocol, and just integrating with the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, so you're trying to create and join into the DeFi side of things as well, which is perfect because are you going to try to make that so it's playable within game? Like you're saying, you can go into a room and click on something that launches you into a Radium protocol. Is similar to what DeFi Land is doing? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, very very similar to DeFi Land.
And have you had any success at managing to talk to the DeFi protocols out there initially?
So we haven't actually reached out just yet. We want to focus more on just getting our MVP out, getting our website out, and then yes, we do have the plans to reach out to a lot of them.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I wouldn't expect that they would sound as a direct competition to each other. DeFi Land go a little bit differently. That is awesome. I love it. You guys mentioned a couple of things earlier as well. It was really interesting to have your spin on how you're going to be proposing to partnerships going forward. So do you want to talk about a couple of the ideas and even show the crowd what you guys had created for Grape?
Cool, Ratri, you take over. I'll get the picture up.
Just while Retri's staging in there, Bibu and Biken, I appreciate your chatting in the live questions, and I've got 2 DeFi Land codes sitting in my pocket burning a hole, so that's still got a good 4 weeks before they go to beta, open beta. Just message me afterwards and we'll work out some codes. Did we catch Retri at a bad time, did we?
Yeah, where did he wander off to? Yeah, I just put it into the chat of the avatar, the Grape avatar
HDC.
that we created.
Right, so they're actually in the Sovana AMA questions chat, just away from the chat. So make sure all questions go through the live questions channel. But how long does something like that take to work, Thug? You worked on that for the day, but that is pretty cool to see that. Like I was pretty excited seeing. I love creation, and it's changed how I've looked at gamification of things as well. But how hard is something like that to do?
It's all credits to our artist, really, Katz. He's so good at this, and it amazes me how fast he actually, I just gave him an idea, showed him the Grape protocol and what you guys are about, and he just came up with this in I think it took him about 3 hours to create, the whole concept and animate it.
Yeah, I love it. So and the plan is then to be building these for every individual, sort of every space joining in?
Yeah. So the plan is to make Sovana as vibrant as possible, as diverse as possible. So we'll have all types of animals and different NFTs just jumping around and chatting.
Yeah, it's something I try and work at behind the scenes, talking to community, different games, and all of that. It's kind of stuck into me more the games, and I'm still not sure. I've not been out for the flip culture, but I try to pair up with games with Grape as well, with us actually getting out there and doing things. And I love seeing things like that, just creating something. The one of one NFT's got a little bit tired. But there's a reason and a purpose for them. But seeing them for the protocols where they would actually have utility and stuff, and if you saw something like that walking around, that would be cool. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's completely amazing to have that. Sorry for the DC guys. I think I'll elaborate further on how the process works, especially when we onboard new partners, and Tuck can go ahead and maybe post some of the assets for some of the Grape members to actually look at. So, and these assets are just in the early innings. They're yet to be polished. They're yet to be iterated upon. But give us your feedback, and maybe we'll make edits on it. So how it works is, whenever we speak to a new partner, we sort of give them the whole rundown of what Sovana DAO is aiming to do. We then come into discussion, as to what they want their ecosystem to look like on the platform. So, for instance, the Bandito bar that is seen on the light paper, that will actually go through a few iterations until the Bandito DAO is actually sort of like happy with how their version of a Bandito bar will look like. We then speak to the developers as well as to how would they like their NFT to actually look like in avatar format on, especially when it's a 2D world. So an example would be Degen Apes. So Degen Apes are a 3D type graphic NFT. How will that ape sort of look like in the Sovana Metaverse? So that's a question that we will be bringing to them, asking them what sort of traits are they looking for, what sort of body design or even facial design they're looking for, and we then port all those traits onto the platform protocol-wise. And the protocol is designed to look for these traits if you have a Degen ape in your wallet, and it'll bookmark those 3 traits, sort of ping it, and once you port your avatar in, it will then carry all these traits. An example is Doug right now, right? His Tugbird has a red hat and a Tron glasses. So the Sovana machine will recognize that his wallet carries a Tugbird with a red hat and Tron glasses, and then and then port that image into the metaverse. I hope that answers the question in a not so technical way.
No, that's good, man. That's awesome. I love seeing it. It's going to definitely add that vibrance and give people feeling like it's theirs, and people are taking on these avatars, and it's becoming a very personal experience for them. And it's a really fun and interesting time to be through, seeing the change. But we are hitting on our hour, so we haven't mentioned the timeline or what's in the next few months. So let's have a quick what is happening for you guys over the next 3 months specifically.
All right, a lot of things are happening right now. What we're doing is we are trying to build a community that is 100% organic and 100% flipper proof or pesticide free in some sense. So
I like that term.
we're sort
I like it.
developing faction dynamics inside our Discord. We're sort of trying to get to know every single early member as much as we can. And that is our first step. Second step will be the release of our MVP. Some of our early members have already seen how it works, how the game actually works, how the avatars actually move around, and what the buildings actually look like in real time. That's our second step. And our third step will be the mint event, where you can then mint some eggs. You can then port that eggs, get some usability within the platform itself. And after that, we'll actually create individual and community-owned hideouts. So this is where that early question you had, where can someone actually own property in Sovana DAO? The answer is yes. However, at the moment, what we're focused on is DAO hideouts first, and actual spaces where we can all gather first.
That makes sense.
And I think that will initially be most important, because what is the point of owning property within a platform if the platform doesn't actually have the support of the entire community around it? So we want you to actually come in, make friends, use the platform itself, make more friends, form guilds, form alliances, whatever, and then invite those friends into your personal mansion. If you want to be in a mansion, invite your friends in, host parties, host events, host discussion, host give out alpha on the platform itself.
Yeah, I love the idea of being able to walk into a specific room and have a AMA. As to how that would work, it'd be interesting, because obviously you've got to tie in. Is it going to go through Discord? Is it going to go through the platform? It becomes quite kind of harder afterwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that's just for a reiteration, guys. We're looking at a mint of around 5,000 NFTs, 1 Solana each, but that may be subject to change, and likely, by the sounds of it, going to be after Christmas, which I think makes sense. It is very busy around that stage of December. So, have you got any closing thoughts, Retry or Thug, before we close this one down?
I think I have a closing thought where I hope everyone listening today feels good about taking part in the ecosystem. We're still extremely, extremely early. So if you're participating in here looking for a quick flip, not just on our project, not just for Grape protocol itself, but any project out there, I strongly request that you reconsider your thesis. Have a very long-term horizon, like have enough ammunition that will actually help you for the next 10, 20, 30 years. And if you're thinking in the short term, you better be damn sure that you're making the right trades because as Doug would know, and he's a prop trader himself, a lot of traders actually lose money in the short term. I think the stats are up to 90%. And even in crypto, where everything goes up, there's still that opportunity to lose. So everyone take this time to study the very interesting projects coming up in the space. And it is the time period as well where you can talk to almost every single founder in the space. Like they're happy to actually pick up the phone with you and answer your questions. And that is some serious alpha that you can get. Develop actual friends like you would in real life. Like enter channels, look at who's active in there, talk to them, get to know them, and develop sort of like a close-knit circle around yourself because the metaverse is real and it's going to take off in the next 20, 30 years. And that's the time horizon that you have to look at. Stop thinking and stop denominating your life in dollars as well. Start denominating your life in Solana. Start denominating your net wealth in BTC. And above all, practice kindness to everyone around you. Like as much as money making is fun, as much as being a degen is fun, the single most scalable, scarce asset on this planet is actually human kindness and time.
There's so much of that resonates, and I love so much of it. Pretty much in crypto, if you're looking for quick flips, yes, it can happen, but you're taking that a lot of risk. And I love that if you make close relationships with people in crypto, it'll change your whole experience, and you're gonna succeed. I don't want to make this being about financial advice. Most of what I do and cover with the gaming side of things isn't financial advice. I'm not putting that out there to try and get the lawyers and help me out. Make friends, talk to people. The fact that we're getting these amazing guests on stage, they're answering all these awesome questions. They will answer them in their discords as well. Like make those alliances, get along, and it is going to help your whole experience in crypto so much better. It makes it more rewarding as well, getting to know people and their platforms and their games.
Hey man, 100% agreed. I think that's how we started talking as well, Barndog, where we actually started talking through conversation on Twitter before I even knew that you were part of Great Protocol, and just treating everyone like you would the same courtesy in real life instead of hiding behind your avatar. Like, guys, if you're thinking of NFTs as a get rich quick scheme, I think some of you would have already experienced that. But really, if you think about asset and risk, right, we're at the very tail end of what risk is. There's nothing more speculative in this space than NFTs itself. But here's the opportunity. Because we're so early, because we're at that speculative stage, a lot of things can be possible, but it really comes at our responsibility to build them out. It is there is no point there is no point if you make a quick buck and then port all your money buying real life assets at this moment. If you really believe in this space, if you really believe in NFTs, if you've fallen in love with it, if you've fallen in love with the Solana ecosystem, you're an early user. And as an early user, you have the responsibility to educate others, to actually build something, to actually have conviction, develop conviction in what you believe in. And that single advice has was actually told to me by someone else, and that has taken me and Doug quite far within the industry itself. And from Doug's point of view as well, I reckon he's got a lot of wisdom that he can share with you as his closing words.
Yeah, I love it so much. I think yeah, being engaged with the community, making friends, really committing yourself to a project, it really changed the dynamics of things, from the just money orientated thing. You get some form of like a new form of wealth beyond money, beyond the material goods. You get this richness and this feeling of belonging, this a close knit of friends, and I think you really can't put a price on those things.
No, you can. It's good mental health. I think that's awesome. You can absolutely. I think coming at it from a good, healthy mind and body towards is, and that starts with creating those partnerships. But I do want to really appreciate and thank you guys for coming on stage. I'm really happy, Retri, we started chatting and we've managed to get you here at Grape. Did you guys want to do something with MVP afterwards?
Yeah, sure. Hop onto our Discord, and I'm more than happy to show you guys around the metaverse.
All right, so I will get a link. Actually, if you can. Oh yeah, where are we?
For those who care about mental health, we actually have a mental health initiative that I'm not sure whether I should talk about here, but we actually have a mental health Twitter Spaces that we're actually hosting every single week. And this space is actually moderated by PhD psychologists. One of our moderators, Mish, is a PhD psych. And what we aim to do is to help give everyone the tool set, toolkits, and the mental framework to deal with the stress that actually happens in this space. And I think just speaking to everybody, whether you're a retail trader, whether you're a builder, developer, or even a VC, everyone is stressed out because the crypto industry just moves way too fast.
Yeah, look, it is the right space. I think we should always be highlighting good mental health, and I have noticed a lot of projects are looking at that, which is awesome. I think it is needed. Good mind, good body, and that's gaming. Gaming can change that. It's good to see these initiatives and projects actually looking at it. So let's close the stage down here. Let's go and raid Savannah Discord and see what they've got to show us for MVP. I can even record that and add it to my video. But again, thank you for coming, and it's been a wonderful time.
Hey, Barndog, thanks so much for having us. Really appreciate this opportunity.
Thanks, Barndog.